grand evening. We are here. Thank thank you for joining me. I am going to go over a few different things that is actually pretty serious. Astro, according to the mundane, actually just going to be reading from Celeste 1.2, a free app that all of us with can actually download and keep up with the some of the happening with yourself and on the mundane in the Astro weather. So peaceful greetings, Melissa Johnson. How are you? Thanks for, like I said, I wanted to tap in with you guys because a lot of times we don't know what's going on internationally, and although we may not see some of these headlines make our local media, I won't name any of them, however, give us everything. So we're going to go in depth on what I spent the evening last night going into what was jumping out from the mundane transit. So it's not going. I hear a baby. Give me 1 second. Real mamas. Hold on. All right. We're back. So, like I said, it's imperative that we get to talking about these. Jump right into it, and that way we can, these things throughout the week. Like I said, download these apps. Is another place that you can actually get some really good interpretations for information in there. They give you a computer generated for yourself. But on Thursdays, you can actually see everything. So for free, if you're not really versed in astrology yet, what you want to make sure you do is go ahead and, sources until you are ready to jump. I'll put astrology.com here, or astro.com rather, and the other app is Celeste 1.2. So let's get into it. I'm going to be toggling back screen on this just yet, so we'll figure that out. But with I hope you all know what BRICS is. BRICS is actually in full force. The B stands for Brazil, is Russia. You have India, China, and South Africa. So this is a coalition that has running the background of the they make up together about 41% of the global countries. These nations are joining forces, and we know what's going on because there's a trickle down effect right now, full effect, as China's Communist Party is in Congress in session for their historical third term. Now, the reason why this is important is because these terms, although the terms for their Communist Party last, these terms usually don't go past 2. So this is a really that's going on, and according to the political analysts, are taking, are basically situation, for lack of a better term, they have a lot going on. So what I notice of is that Jupiter being void in Aries, that's what you're going to see left. That sign is Jupiter. So Jupiter is currently void in Aries. Energy has a lot to do with what's going on here. So I'll read you last on Jupiter void in Aries. Jupiter is that benevolent energy that a lot of times, if you're not paying attention, so the interpretation states, quote, "In legal matters assume prominence, justify broad sweeping actions." Part again, because that's it right there, even though this continues on. It says Jupiter, moral and legal matters assume prominence and are used for sweeping actions. Decisions that have required long or have been dragged out are finally made. Trends reach a peak or a set of limits, and this sell or buy depending on where the trends have been leading. But it is volatile, and important decisions or seek the news now. So being to that interpretation for Jupiter void in Aries, Jupiter level energy, it's a ruler of Sagittarius. So anyone who's a Sagittarius familiar with the Jupiterian energy. However, what we want to fact that it said that, it said that prominence is going to be used. So the moral and legal matters, important decisions are making the news. Government across the world are paying attention. They have what navigator in their governmental office. These people are who are able to tell their or advise and when is the good time to go forward with actions they're looking to take, whatever they've been pondering, and so on and so forth. This is imperative that we learn what these symbols mean, what be able to interpret it for within, and so therefore without. Right? So I'm just going to also go over a few other things that have to, according to the Chinese political analysis, they're full of political prisoners. And with the sun being in Libra, with that diplomatic energy in Gemini. So all of this energy at the same time for what we're seeing, a lot of riots in societies. Xi Jinping actually opened up his speech and declared China as a world economic, who are overtaking the United States within the next several. Did y'all know that? So China is getting the world leader in the economy. You know that that's what's going on in the background? Meanwhile, our local headlines are show about Mar-a-Lago or what have you, and this and that and the third. Very important that our people may be going through, natural disasters so that we can send for them and get them help. However, also just as important to know these things are happening in this world is not that big. So everything that happens over there is going here. All right. So I'm just going to continue reading a few. Said the U.S. and the Chinese relations rating, as the U.S. will be surpassed very soon, and I'm saying the U.S. will be surpassed very soon. However, China, they will look at all countries as equal and not abuse their power in attempt towards their way of government. Now, I don't know if you are where I'm relying on to assist you while it's falling is not that intelligent. So again, so I'm bringing it to you as plainly as possible. I'm not trying to be politically correct or adept in any sort of fashion. I'm letting you know that this is directly correlated with the astrology. Another very important thing is the fact that the Chinese people, they're not as happy as you think they'd be, but being government works over there, it's a zero tolerance on COVID. Xi Jinping plans on taking back control of Hong Kong and Taiwan. And with these transits, like I said, with the Sun and Mars and Gemini, that energy is conducive. And if they're wanting to use force, this would be the time to do it. So let's move on to the next headline there. Let's see, stuff going on in the UK as well. So in the UK, currently, I don't know if you've heard, but the US elected a female prime minister by the name of Liz. This just occurred about little over, and she ended up bringing in her friend, colleague into her. She fired him only 38 days last week. If you were paying attention to the markets, they have on the British pound, because of the fact that the market basically said she was going to do. I'm not a Wall Street or stock exchange in any form or fashion, but this is also, again, very important because we're in transition from the Queen having died, and a lot of countries are looking for UK to do something, going to do anything to balance out what is occurring in their economy. They're going to start pulling their hands back, and which is what they did last week. So right now, Venus. Anytime you see Venus, you're going to see money move, whether it be money in the increase or money in the Venus has a lot to do with value systems, or all to do with that as well, love and things of that nature. However, it also is very key to know that system. So when you see Venus, you're also going to see money issues moving to and fro as well with this energy. So this trust was supposed to cut back taxes and spending money. She went in a whole turn around into a home based on this particular energy. So Venus at 22 degrees in the fourth house. The fourth house is the home where Cancer is resides and rules over. And the sun at 23 degrees in Libra. Together, conjunction is together. So in the fifth house, center stage, it has to do with acting. It also has to do with that Leo. Leo belongs in the fifth house, or is at home in the fifth house, rather. So it's a ruler there. And paying attention to the energy of it all together. It's Venus at 22 degrees in Libra in the fourth house, the sun at 23 degrees Libra in the fifth house, then you'll be able to something like this is going on. So when I read the interpretation, it sounds, and again, this is coming from Celeste. I'm not writing my own horoscopes for this correlation from the international headlines from the mundane. So it says the direct movement is a superior conjunction, agreements and swaps. That's the key word right there. Swaps, cooperation between individuals and groups. And the resolution of differences may be prominent theme of the finance minister. Just a month was appointed. He was a friend of hers, is what occurred in government. Let's just, do a hypothetical. If I was in government, I would be my astrologer to let time. It would be for me to swap out my finance minister well, so that it would be a favorable energy. And if you guys are really, really paying attention to the energy, which is alchemy. People who are working energy and alchemy, this is what they do. They're using the energy of the stars, the placements, and those portals, so that way they can hone it and make and turn favorable energy going outward. So again, time. Now, mind you, I want you to pay attention as well, because this week is also another time for, or this cycle rather, is also when lawmakers and the members of the parliament in the UK are basically us. So meanwhile, while she just kicked out her finance manager in hopes of the people and the citizens and the members of parliament, they're orders to get her out of there this week. Now, I'm not saying that that's going to happen. Paying attention to the astrology, which is why it's important to also remember that quote from J.P. Morgan saying that astrology, millionaires don't use astrology, billionaires. So these group entities, these world leaders, where billions of dollars of accessible liquid are actually using astrology. Why do you public school? Why do you think that it's been labeled as a? Why do you think people look at us who actually do astrology as witches or what have you, wizards, all these different labels? The reason why is because they're the ones in the background. So let's pay. We'll see how that works out. Thing to see if Liz makes it past, we're in October, makes it past the end of the, so we'll see how that works out. Um, One that I want to, let's see. I mean, that China thing that's highly important. I don't know if y'all seen those military looks when they line up. Yeah, all right. As well, internationally, there are some headlines that are not. If you've seen it, if you've not seen it, what people are saying on an internet that Biden is inciting chaos within their affairs, governmental affairs that have nothing to do with him, and have not, us over here, particularly because they are their own people, and it's my position on that. No personal attachments to it, but some things in the public um, that were along the lines uh, supporting their women, and supporting them protesting for their rights and so on and so forth. But right here on the homeland, the people who are within that U.S., they have some issues with the women right now going on that he could be addressing. Why would he go out of his way to do that? Aha! Maybe of the astrology and the effects that would have occurred. 23 degrees. The sun is at 23 degrees. Trine, it's that triangle. Mars, 4 degrees in Gemini in the first house. The Martian energy itself is warring, fire, knives, stabs. It has to do with a warlike energy. That's why Aries is fiery, and they can, uh, advantageous way. That is their personality. If you have that in your trine, whether it's your rising sign, that is going to be the energy that you carry. So being and also being aware of this energy. Now, what Celeste says about this particular is bold leadership and action, exciting sport events or military raids often occur. It is a quote unquote, quote aspect favorable for initiating first time event, breaking new ground. So that first time event is a direct correlation with Mars actually being in the first house. The first house is all about yourself. And so, somewhere when it comes to the first house in the mundane. So it's not anything that you would internalize for yourself. It's all about how you weighted according to what the people of the world are going to do. Use this energy to make headway or spearhead some kind of, in a good way, that would be, taking the time out to streamline a new group of, let's say drill team. I was talking a drill team for the community, and doing an event because the sun is center stage. Things like that would be good energy. And when we get to a place of really being interpret or or um, religion in itself, what it stands for, what it means, then we really govern ourselves accordingly and appropriately, the way our ancestors did, using this energy to the advantageous, um, to the advantage of. This is science. It's not anything emotional. It is. And again, these headlines are directly trickle down to us over here. What I would pay attention to, though, is, I mean, while the dog and pony show is going on, like I said, with the thing or them trying to put him on the stand or what have you, keep in the forefront of your, there are puppeteers, puppets, if you will, keep our minds and not others. So I'm not going to say much longer that to the forefront, search and hit me up on Pink all platforms and what you think. Also, let me know if there's anything that we can discuss. I am an open book for you. You must come to me with a sincere and be able to receive sincere energy. So thank you all for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe. Reach out to me. I'll reach out back to you. And this evening, the headlines for the week of the 16th October. We talked how they are making moves, are breaking ground. The drawn out placement of Jupiter to take force to expand their control. The people of China have seen it speaking out. They are saying that they are in rights. However, position is we are saving lives in comparison to how many people due to COVID from in comparison to the United States. Basically, they've saved about, and on an average, a number of deaths due to COVID with thrice hours loosely. However, within the jurisdiction of the U.S. corporation, same. So that means according to where China stands and what they needed to do people's lives, whether it's taking them or speaking bad about completely throwing them into or prison. They don't spread the disease. That's where they stand. They stand this Jupiterian in their control, whether the bear or they like it or not. UK, look, not a good look. It's not looking good for the UK. The British pound is at about $0.8 right now, and if it's ready to take over global, then uh, what we would consider a type of energy. Um, get out and tell the people to do, except for really to nature and her appropriately, because we are looking at as it can do good. I didn't put this one in the ticker, but it may or may not that over 1 million have been displaced due to floods. 600 people have died due to floods in Nigeria. So, that logical force as well. I had all to astrology. It's all right. I'm gonna get on out of here. I love you all, and tap in with me online. See you and reciprocate your. All right. 1 second. All right. I'm looking at the chat. I don't see, but like I said, if there's any questions you wanted to go over and see how, let me know. But I will be back with anything that's changed. We'll see if any and what the astrology has. All right. Peace. Oh, get your house in order. I'll just encourage everyone on yourself and their family, whoever that family is. Try by people who are for you, who are not for you, for you, and if not, be for yourself. Energy starts to we are way too, whereas other countries. Oh, this is another thing that, as far as BRICS goes, and Egypt are applying. They're currently being so again, pay attention on why these things are. That means for the authority moving in certain directions. Shanghai is one of the rich, expensive places to live in. Shanghai. Did you know that? Not LA, and Paris. Meanwhile, they're over at protesting and rioting as well. I just chose a few headlines across the globe. You can see adequately of these energy headway, and they are protesting and protesting. So I'll leave you with that. Peace be unchecked. Like I said, I love you. You soon.